Yeah, they are greedy dogs, which can never have enough. And they are shepherds. They cannot understand. They all look to their own way, everyone for his gain from his quarter.
Yeah, morning. Shalom, peace and blessings to you. Today I'm coming with a prophetic message coming from Ezekiel 34, speaking of the false preachers and the rulers, the corrupt rulers who led the house away from its righteousness. So there's a prophecy for you false preachers, teachers, and rulers. So we're going to get right into it. We want to start off from the beginning of Ezekiel 34. Then the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Son of man, prophesy against the shepherds of Israel. Prophesy and say to them, this is what Father Yahweh says to the shepherds. Woe to the shepherds of Israel who feed themselves. Should the shepherds not feed the flocks? Now, shepherds of Israel is an expression for rulers this includes political leaders, governors, pastors, and preachers and priests. If you go to Jeremiah 2:8, we get the precept for that. And the word of the Lord reads, the priest said not, where is Yahuah? And they that handled the Torah knew me not. The pastors all transgressed against me, and the prophets prophesied by all, and walked after things that do not profit. So due to bad shepherds, so these were bad shepherds, there were corrupt rulers who did not know the Lord, which led to chosen David to feed the Lord's people. Since the previous shepherds fed themselves only and not the flock, they took no care for the people over whom they were set over, only minding their own affairs to get riches and honor, but neglected the good people. Yeah, they cruelly oppressed them. And that's what led the Lord to say, should not the shepherds feed the flock? That was a question. And yes, the ministers of the word should always feed the flock in its proper form and context. I just want to go to a verse really quick in Jeremiah 3:15. And the word of the Lord reads, and I will give you pastors according to my heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. So once again, yes, you appointed pastors and leaders that govern people and guide people through life. You should always feed them the proper food, which is the Most High's word in its true form. So he has a woe for you, he says. Now these are the woes. We're going to stay in Jeremiah. We're going to go to chapter 23. We're going to read verses 1 through 6. So Jeremiah chapter 23, verses 1 through 6. Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, says Yahuah. Therefore, thus says Yahuah Elohai of Yashar'el against the pastors that feed my people, Ye have scattered my flock, and driven them away, and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doings, says Yahuah. And I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all countries whither I have driven them, and will bring them again to their folds, and they shall be fruitful and increase. And I will set up shepherds over them, which shall feed them, and they shall fear no more, nor be dismayed, neither shall they be lacking, says Yahuah. Behold, the days come, says Yahuah, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch, and the king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. In his days Yahudah shall be saved, and Yashar'el shall dwell safely, and his name whereby he shall be called Yahuah Tseva'oth, and that's Yahuah of righteousness. And that righteous shepherd is Yahuah HaMashiach, the one that they call Jesus Christ. Verse Ezekiel 34, verse 3. You eat the fat, you clothe yourselves with the wool. You kill those who are fed, but you do not feed the flock. So these shepherds of the Most High's flock, the civil and ecclesiastical rulers of the people, use their power over them and exercise their offices. They exacted their tribute and taxes. They took their tithes and their prerequisites. They oppressed and even destroyed the people to enrich themselves. They took away the lives of the wealthy and substantial by unjust means and greedy gains in order to enrich themselves with their estates, but did not take care of the benefit, temporal or spiritual. So that's why you have to face your woes. Verse 4, Ezekiel 34, verse 4. The disease you have not strengthened, the sick you have not healed. You have not bound up the broken, nor have you brought back those who were driven away. You have not searched for those who were lost, but with force and with cruelty you have ruled them. So you shepherds over the flock, you did not give proper health advice to the wants and necessities of those committed to the charge, the ones keeping the laws like the judges, did nothing to relieve the needy nor defend the oppressed. The priests and the prophets were not diligent in giving people the proper instructions in re-edifying the mistakes in their error. They did not give relief to the afflicted and miserable. Now I'm going to pause here and go to Deuteronomy. We're going to go to the Old Testament, to Deuteronomy 22. Deuteronomy 22. You shall not see your brother's ox or his sheep go astray and hide yourself from them. You shall in any case bring them again unto your brother. So you shall not let your brother go astray. And if your brother be not nigh unto you, or if you know him not, then you shall bring it into your own house, and it shall be with you until your brother seek after it, and you shall restore it to him again. In like manner shall you do with his ass and so shall you do with his remnant. And with all lost things of your brothers which he has lost, and you have found, shall you do likewise. You may not hide yourself. So I just wanted to read a little of that in Deuteronomy, because you are supposed to reach out to your brothers if they're lost. You're supposed to hold on to them. And that's not what these rulers and preachers and teachers and the people who governed Israel did. They did not search out for those who strayed away from the truth, or save those who were perishing in their sin, like they were instructed to by instruction and exhortation. Instead, they ruled them by the rough methods of compulsion and cruelty, and not by the gentle way of reason, such as argument, long-suffering, meekness, and love. Instead, the government over them exercised tyranny and oppressed instead of justice, kindness, and benefit. Sounds like some stuff that's going on today, don't it? Ezekiel 34, verses 5 through 6. They were scattered because there were no shepherds. And when they were scattered, they became meat for the nations. Beastly system. My sheep wandered through all the mountains and upon every high hill. Yes, my flock was scattered upon all the face of the earth, and no one searched or sought after them. So once again, they just let them go astray and left them to their demise, to be devoured by these nations and these nations' systems. But these nations' systems is not the system for the Most High's children. The Most High governs his children according to his word, which the churches of today do not preach. Verses 5 through 6. So, here in verses 5 through 6, the people became as a sheep without a shepherd, were given up as a prey to their enemies, and the land was utterly desolated. No rank or office can exempt from the reproofs of Yah's word. Men who neglect their duty and abuse the trust reposed in them. Therefore, you shepherds, hear the word of Yahweh. As surely as I live, says Father Yahweh, because my flock became a prey, and my flock became meat for all the nations' beastly systems, because there was no shepherd, neither did my shepherds search for my flock, but the shepherds fed themselves and fed not my flock. Therefore, O you shepherds, hear the word of Yahweh. This is what the Father Yahweh says. Behold, I am against the shepherds, and I will require my flocks at their hand. I will cause them to cease feeding the sheep, and the shepherds will no longer feed themselves. For I will deliver my flock from their mouth, that they may not be meat for them. So, the shepherds have made the Most High their enemy by their neglecting and abuse of their power. They have been taking advantage of the people by pretending to be their shepherd. This is what we call false preachers. I will be an open enemy to them. He will require severe account from the kings, princes, the priests, and the prophets of the damage his people sustained. So you have a penalty for you shepherds who led the people astray. Ezekiel 34:11. For this is what Father Yahweh says, behold, I will both search for my sheep and seek them out, just as a shepherd seeks out his flock in the day that he is among his sheep that are scattered. So will I seek out my sheep, and I will deliver them out of all places where they have been scattered in the cloudy and dark day. So Yahweh with care and diligence will gather them together, bring them to the fold, observe what they suffered, and if lame and torn, he will bind and heal them and provide pasture for them. Though the judges who were keepers of the law failed at doing their part for the good of the church, Yah will not fail in doing so. He will take his people into his own hands, so it will not be deprived of any kindness he had designed for it. Yahweh will bring them home from their several dispersions during the destruction of whatever country they are in at the time. So he's going to gather his sheep from their countries. Ezekiel 34, verse 13. And I will bring them out from the countries. And I will bring them out from the people and gather them from the countries. And I will bring them to their own land and feed them upon the mountains of Israel, by the rivers, and in all the inhabited places of the country. I will feed them in the rich pastures, and their fold will be upon the high mountains of Israel. There will lie in a pleasant fold and in a rich pasture. They will feed upon the mountain of Israel. I will feed my flock, and I will cause them to lie down, says Father Yahweh. I will seek that which was lost and bring back that which was driven away. I will bind up that which was broken and will strengthen that which was sick. But I will strengthen that which was sick. But I will destroy that fat and the strong. I will feed them with judgment. So this prophecy focuses on their restoration from the Babylonian captivity, and was partly fulfilled with thousands upon thousands returning to their own land under the conduct of Zerubbabel, Ezra, and others. The Lord declared that he intended mercy towards the scattered flock. He finds them in their days of darkness and ignorance and brings them to his foes. He comes to their relief in times and persecutions and temptation. He leads them in the way of righteousness and causes them to rest on his love and faithfulness. The proud and self-sufficient are enemies of the true gospel and of believers. Against such we must guard. He has rest to the saints of terror for presumptuous sinners. So that's just the first half, you guys. There's going to be a second half to this. That is all for now. So in the meantime, you guys take care. Love you. Stay vigilant. And guard yourself from the enemy at all times. Remember, put on the whole armor of God so you can stand the evil one. Be blessed.